That would be sublime.
Welcome, everybody, to the maiden voyage episode of Ineffably Sublime. And this podcast is going to be a little bit of a mixed bag of all sorts of fun stuff that's going on. I'm your host, DeeJ, and with me is my co-host, Beard of the Woodpecker, Mitch. What's going on, Mitch?
Not much, buddy. How are you doing?
Great. Everything's good to go. I'm excited to be here and doing this episode. You know, a little bit of a new adventure, and I think it might be a good time for everybody.
Oh, absolutely. We'll have to eventually tell people what the woodpecker story means, but
that's for another day.
Yeah, that'll be another day, another time,
We'll keep them guessing.
Oh, absolutely.
Why is Mitch called the spirit of the woodpecker?
I've been called worse, and I've been called better too, though. So, it's all good.
That's true, but I'm interested in letting them, the tens of 20s of listeners that we may or may not have, stay engaged and wonder, why is he called that? Yeah. The show was almost called Spirit of the Woodpecker.
Very close.
It was close.
Yep. But that saying sublime is it's the way to go.
Right.
It's a fantastic word, which I don't think I ever would have used unless it was for Michael Scott. Unless he said it, I would have probably never said it either.
Right, but you were so hooked on the word phenomenal that I'm like, we got to change it. You got to up your vocab.
Yep. I was phenomenal and awesome. That was pretty much, those were my two go-to words.
So now we got sublime.
Yep.
And then we added ineffably, which just means that this is just the most incredible thing ever. That's all that means.
Yeah. Let's see if I can say it. Ineffably. Oh, there it is.
Oh, there you
Look
go.
at this. I'm getting good at this.
All that practice you had on the dry erase board. I was literally watching you like throw your arm in the air, like trying to say it, underlining it with your hand.
Yeah.
Ineffably.
I was surprised. You probably recorded that, didn't you? Did you record?
I did not record that.
Oh,
no.
You should have.
No, I know the rules of recording at work, and I've gotten in trouble for it before, so I can't do it.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, I can't. So this morning I ran a poll on a Facebook group that I have for the topic of today's discussion, and that topic, listeners, is cereal soup. So we're going to be discussing whether or not it's soup, and it's a hot button topic.
Oh.
But I did run a random poll in this group of neurodivergent people because I also feel like I am in that category most of the time. Mitch, you might be too.
I don't know. What the hell does neurodivergent? So that's brain divergent.
Just like just like people who do weird shit.
Oh, well then that's definitely me then.
Just people who have weird things in their life and like picky eaters and like fidget people who like to fidget with stuff and things like that. So I fell into that category pretty quickly, and I decided to post this picture, or not this picture, this poll. And it was, I said, hey friends, today is the maiden voyage of our new podcast, and today's discussion is cereal soup? Feel free to weigh in so I can gain a general consensus. So 15% of there's 57 votes total.
Okay.
15% said yes.
Oh, who are those people? Come on.
1% of persons said it's specifically broccoli and cheddar, and I don't know why.
What?
13% said no, but if it is, it's like a milk soup, which is odd. These people added their own poll categories. I don't know.
Yeah.
Another person said 1% said no, it's a dip situation, which is equally odd. 19% said no, cereal is sugary, soup is savory. 29% just straight up said no. One person said it's not gazpacho. 8% said it's
gazpacho is.
Gazpacho is cold soup.
That's right. You did tell me that. Okay.
It's specifically made to be cold. It's like salsa.
Yeah. Every time I hear gazpacho, I think of World War II, Gestapo. What the hell does the Nazis have to do with soup?
Yeah, I mean, you're not too far off there.
That's true.
Let's see. We got 8% said it's the mini version of cookies dipped in milk. 1% basically should have just left a comment, but it said, to me, cereal is the crunchy bit, and I always have mine with yogurt so it doesn't get soggy. I hate that. And in other words, no, it is not soup. 8% said maybe for a broader definition of soup. One person said no, cereal is a salad.
What?
And 3% said cereal is not cooked, so it can't in itself be soup. So yeah.
That's a lot of... I don't know if I am neurodivergent now after hearing most of that stuff.
I mean,
because I was like a yes or no. Well, I don't know now because the way that they all said that now, maybe I would have done a one person saying this. I don't know. Well, those were some weird responses. I don't want to offend anybody though.
I mean, I'm with them. You know what I mean? Like, I joined the group, and there's been a lot of relatable posts in the group so far that I'm like, all right, yeah, maybe I'm gonna fall under that category. And there's it's a very wide range category, like of just people in general. You know, you got like people with autism, severe autism, then you got high functioning autism, then you got just people who like to fidget, or people who have texture issues, or things like that. And I've seen such a wide variety of posts come out of that. I thought this will be a good place to post this question. And even one lady was just like, hey, that's not the first time this question's been posed here. And I was like, I'm sure it hasn't.
Oh, wow.
But I wanted to get some kind of, people who are picky eaters or just generally picky about random things in life to weigh in on the thing. So we're going to just break it down into definitions and then go from there. So do you want to read any, or do you want me to start?
I'll go ahead. I can read what the because we already know what my stance is on this. So I think what I'll do is I can because I will make it very clear, maybe like what the definition of a cereal is. I saw you put it up there because I had it too on, because I was like, all right, I'm going to Webster's Dictionary and I'm gonna go word for word what they say. And I can even do we want to do cereal and soup, or do we want to just start with cereal? Because either way we look at it, my opinion's going to be the right one. So, I mean.
Right. Well, before we start here, in regard to the salad comment, this is what ChatGPT had to say about it. I told ChatGPT to classify cereal into one of these categories.
Okay.
Soup, salad, or sandwich. And give me the reason for it. It said cereal is typically classified as neither soup, salad, nor sandwich. It is a breakfast food typically served with milk or yogurt, and it doesn't fit into the traditional categories. I said, I want you to classify it. It said, if we had to classify cereal into one of these given categories, it would be closest to salad. This classification is somewhat unconventional, as cereal is not typically considered a salad, but it shares similarities with salads in terms of being a mixture of various ingredients, grains, nuts, dried fruits, served cold with milk or yogurt, similar to how salads combine various ingredients like vegetables, fruits, and often a dressing. However, it is important to note that this classification is a stretch. And cereal is a distinct food category on its own. I disagree. I feel like it's close to soup. I don't see how it's close to salad, but
I don't either. But ChatGPT kind of had a little bit of a point there when it came to salad, because I guess you think, when I think salad initially, because it's all gross anyway, salad is always lettuce. There's got to be some sort of vegetation in there. But then you got to realize, okay, well, there is potato salad, which is gross, macaroni salad, which is gross. But, so at least with salad, there's more of a wider variety, I guess. With soup, with soup, though, dang it, I don't know now.
So, listen, I can remember years ago, I was a child, and it was probably my dad's 50th birthday party. So we're talking almost 20 years ago. I was at this party, and there was a gentleman there, and we were eating pizza, and he put ketchup and mustard on his pizza. And I thought, what are you doing, bro? And I said, why are you putting ketchup and mustard on there? He's like, well, tell me how what do you put ketchup and mustard on? I was like, I mean, a sandwich. He goes, all right, let's make a sandwich. I'm going to put some bread down. I'm going to put some tomatoes down. I'm going to put some cheese down, a little bit of pepperoni on there. He goes, I'm going to warm it up in the microwave. He goes, what's the difference? I said, okay. I mean, I see your point, I guess, but like, let's take a salad and remove the lettuce and throw some cheese on top of it, throw it in the microwave, throw some marinara on top, then you got a deconstructed pizza. I mean,
yeah. I don't know. I guess you could do that with a lot of things, though. You could do a lot of like, oh, I'm going to put ketchup on this, or I'm going to put mustard. And then if you do it like that, then it's like, well, I break it down. Then it doesn't look so bad. But no, the bottom line is ketchup and mustard on pizza. That made me gag. That's terrible. Like, why? I don't even know. But the way that you said that guy even broke it down. No, bread and a tomato in the microwave compared to an actual pizza, that to me is like two totally different things. I think this is one of those things, like, in his head he thought it sounded good. And
I mean, the way he talked, he's been doing it for years.
Well, he's an idiot then, so I mean,
it's a core memory of mine. I'll never forget it. It was
that would be very odd.
It was so like just disheartening, and I was like, oh my god, like, okay.
That's the look I get sometimes when I put ketchup in my mac and cheese. Like the sheer disgust on people's face.
I couldn't do it.
It's really not that bad.
Ketchup to me is very distinct in the way it tastes, and like that's like it'd be like if you grabbed a bottle of ketchup and I'm gonna put this in as my spaghetti sauce.
Yeah, that's
like
people do that, which is odd. I still find odd. I can't remember. It was a friend of mine. That's what their parents did. I watched them one time make spaghetti, and she grabbed ketchup and she just started just blasting it in the pot, and I'm like, what the hell is she doing? So so instantly I was just like, no, I'm not hungry, even though I was starving. I was like, nah, I don't like spaghetti. Yep.
That's dude, being at friends' houses can be very weird.
Oh, I hated it.
I feel you.
Because, being a picky eater, anyone that knows me knows that I'm picky. So yeah, there were times it was rough, but I did have a couple friends' parents that were very accommodating for me. I was able to tell them that I was picky, and they
I mean, I can remember being at my buddy's house and his dad, we had a big sleepover, and the next morning his dad's like, I'm going to go get McDonald's for everybody, and then just left. Didn't say like, what do you want, or what do you like, or what do you don't like. He just brought back a bunch of burgers and some nuggets, and I just had to sit there and eat nuggets because I didn't like what they had on the burgers. Like, sorry, bro. Like, hope you all...
It's crazy how this is like triggering me. Because now I remember one friend's house. This is the same exact thing. Same dang thing. She's like, I'm going to go get McDonald's. Came home. Had a whole bunch of cheeseburgers. Had everything on it. I went into the bathroom with the toilet paper. Scraped all the mustard and the onions off. Flushed it down the toilet. Came out. Put ketchup on it. And pretended like nothing happened. Like, I would like hide in the bathroom. And do weird things with... Well, I shouldn't say weird things with food. I would scrape food off. We'll just say it that way.
Okay, yeah. I mean, yeah, that totally makes sense. I didn't have the balls to do that, apparently.
Yeah.
Like, equally, I can remember going to a friend's house, and she'd be like, what do you want for lunch? I'd be like, grilled cheese. She's like, you got it. I'll make you a grilled cheese sandwich. And then proceed to give me, like, grilled cheese with Swiss on wheat. And I'm like, oh, thanks. Like, cool. And I had to, like, muster it down because I felt bad. Like, what do you do?
My grandma would always make me peanut butter and jelly, but the only bread she had was rye. Rye bread is awful. I'd rather just put peanut butter and jelly on my hand and I'd just lick it off my hand. I'd just rather do it that way. I'm not eating rye bread. Yeah, I mean, you could toast it. No, it's still trash. Yeah. Psychos.
I'm not eating rye bread.
No.
That's funny. No, I mean, I'm with you 100%. Like, it's just insane.
But yeah, I still remember. And like I said, the house I was at that I was able to hide in the bathroom, it was like the bathroom was like right by the kitchen. So I was able to just kind of like, meander my way into the bathroom without anybody noticing, because I didn't want to do it in front of everybody to look like an idiot. So I figured I'd hide in the bathroom and do it like an idiot, and just, I guess, hope I didn't clog the toilet.
How did you like stand up and be like, I'm just gonna take this burger in the bathroom real quick? And
sometimes I've got ninja-like skills, and I can just slurk away, whatever the term is. Just kind of
skedaddle.
Yeah, skedaddle. TiddyLump. I remember somebody said that's a word to
TiddyLump.
TiddyLump. You've never heard that? Oh man.
Oh. What?
My old boss used to say that. She'd be like, well, my nickname was Cleve at my old job. That's a story for another day. And she would be like, "Hey, Cleve, why don't you TiddyLump over here?" And then I would, scurry my way over there, walk over towards there. Yeah, I'm assuming it's a real term. She made it sound like it is. I mean, I've never really looked it up. It's always been one of those things I just assume that it is.
I have never heard that.
Yeah. So, next time at work, I'll ask you to TiddyLump over to line 5 for me.
Wow. I mean, I honestly, I can't even find a definition of it.
Oh, really? So it's just completely made up then?
It just says, I mean, TiddyLump, but dude, I got nothing.
Oh man, there's Tiddylicious. That's Urban Dictionary. Wrong. Oh, okay. Well then, for all those years, I just thought that was maybe she was from Iowa, so maybe it's a Midwestern term. I don't know.
Fascinating. I mean, I searched TiddyLump, and it's like I even used TIDDY, and I just got a bunch of like breast cancer awareness stuff. So.
Oh man. Well, okay then. So, I was lied to. At least, I now know what it is to do that. And
we're starting off strong. That's fine.
We are. So,
all right.
But yeah, back to the bathroom. I was able to just like you said, the way that their house was set up, I was able to just, like walk through there and nobody even noticed that I did it. It was
interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
I'm with you. I can relate on some. I mean, maybe not going, to the bathroom or whatever, but I've definitely, made my way into just like, to me, this is no different than being like, well, we're going to a party. We don't know the menu. I don't know what's going to be there. I'm going to go ahead and eat first.
Oh, there you go.
Just in case, or I'm going to pack food to this sleepover that I can, figure out a time that I'm gonna just like smash it all down, and then hopefully they don't have rye bread or whatever in the morning, just some weird house like. And I looked at my friend. I'm like, "Is this normal for you? Swiss on wheat grilled cheese sandwiches?" He's like, "Yeah. What do you use?" Like, okay,
no,
sheltered.
Yeah, no, grilled cheese, it's American cheese on white bread. That's it.
Right. Next, they're going to tell me you use mayonnaise instead of butter. Like, bro, what are you doing? But it's common. People do it. It's wild.
They do. Yeah, it is weird when you go to other people's houses, the sheer audacity of people, what they do to their food. Yeah, that's what makes me so glad to be a picky eater sometimes. I really wish I wasn't, though. But...
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about your wife, but my wife is absolutely not a picky eater in any capacity and will literally eat anything.
Oh my God, yeah. If it's dead, Autumn will eat it. Probably some food, even if it's alive, she'd still eat it too. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's just her palate has no bounds.
Yeah. Yep.
And
onions. Like, she's kind of anti-onion now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. After that. She can eat anything.
See, my problem is like onions don't agree with me, so I feel like there's a difference. Like she'll eat whatever, but there's things that don't agree with her, so she can't eat them. So right. But other than that, it's like just absolutely no bounds at all. And my one buddy's like that. He'll pretty much eat whatever, and I'm just like, dude, like, you're eating for pure sustenance at that point. Like,
Yep. And I'm glad my daughter Izzy is not as picky as me. I'm by far of the whole family. hands down the pickiest.
Right.
Yeah, she just made chili. I will not eat chili. I don't like the texture of the like the beans or whatever in it. I just they once they bleh, get into my mouth, no, I can't do it. You
I'm
know,
with you.
I basically got to like, just get it in my mouth and just swallow it. Get something to drink, just wash it right down. Pretend I like it. Fight the gagging. Because I tried to do a lot of that growing up too. I learned how to, if I wasn't able to go to the bathroom to scrape anything off and I was starving, I would figure out a way to take a bite, stick it in the side of my mouth, get a drink, and then be able to like slide it down as I'm drinking it so that I didn't really taste anything.
Right.
It was, I got to be pretty good at it. I don't know if I haven't tried it in a while. I don't know if I'm good at it anymore.
Oh, you never know.
Yeah. So.
Well, I mean, like, and we have Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving's coming up, and my job as a person attending another dinner, since I'm not making my own dinner, is to make sure that I bring at least something I am gonna enjoy. So, they're like, I always appreciate when someone's like, "Oh, bring a dish." Like, you got it. I'm gonna bring enough for me to enjoy something because I have no idea what you're gonna make.
Yep, exactly. That's the way to do it. Because that's it. Usually with us, it's, if we cook it here, of course, we know what we're making. But if we go like to my sister's or something, I usually always know that she's going to have at least one thing there that I'm going to like. They're really good at, of course, accommodating to me. I was the baby of the family. So, for 45 years, my family had to accommodate to me, which
right
now sounds absolutely terrible, and how I never got my ass kicked. Well, I don't know if we can swear on this or not.
Oh, you're thing, man. Whatever, we can do whatever.
So,
we're unregulated.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, here we go. I'm gonna let the expletives fly now. But they, I was terrible as a kid when it came to food, and like I said, they did really well with me, and I appreciate it. Like I said, my sisters really, really helped me out with making sure I was able to eat something.
Right. So, I mean, you take somebody like us, luckily you're I don't know. I actually don't know. We never had this conversation. I don't know how it hasn't come up because I mention it constantly, but you take a person like me or you and that's picky, and then you add something like an allergy, a nut allergy on top of it. Now you got to be like, well, is anything here have almond in it? Like, cause I can't have almond. Like, and they're like, oh, I don't know. I didn't look at any of it. Like, oh, okay. Right. Well, can I see, did you throw away all your packaging? Can I please look at everything? It sucks. Like, it's the worst. And my wife's been really great about, making sure she reads everything before she gets it. But there are, like my mom, she works at Walmart and she thinks, she's very helpful most of the time. She'll be like, I'm going to bring home, 1,000 things for you. And I'm like, that's great. Did you read any of it? Because like I'm going to have to do that. Now, there's probably 10 things in my deep freezer that I can't have. So
yeah, I never would have thought of that. And we talk about your allergy, but yeah, that's one of those things that, I've never had one, thankfully, to any food allergy, and no one in my family has. So that's, that would be a total pain.
It sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, rounding things back to cereal, I had a couple bowls of Cinnamon Toast Crunch yesterday morning, and I had to spend 15 minutes just like reading through the ingredient list. I poured the bowl and sat there and was like, wait a minute, I should read through this.
Yeah.
And I was good, thankfully.
Oh, that's good.
And it was delicious. So right now I have a cinnamon toast soup and gingerbread flavored soup and sugar cookie soup.
Oh yeah, Cinnamon Toast Crunch cereal is really good. That's probably one of my top 5.
Yeah, have you ever had the other the holiday variations? Because they're quite delicious.
I never knew that there was any holiday variations.
Yeah, Sugar Cookie Toast Crunch is amazing.
Never had it. Never even heard of it.
Yeah, it's been out for a couple years. We usually buy it every Christmas. And then this year they have Gingerbread Toast Crunch. So I'm pretty excited to give that a shot.
That is exciting. I'm going to go off the rails here just real quick. I was at Dollar General like I always am. And I forget that every year, I think it's Canada Dry, makes this cranberry ginger ale. It's only out for Christmas. It came out last year. It was sublime. It was phenomenal. And it's like I said, it's only down there for so long. So if you're gonna get it, you better go down and get it. I highly
cranberry ginger ale.
It was cranberry. I think there might have been something else in it. And now I'm gonna remember: is it Seagram's or is it Canada Dry now?
Probably
one of the
ginger
ale. Yeah, and the combo it's great. It is
interesting. I'll give it a shot. I mean, I had somebody years ago turn me off of ginger ale for a while because they told me to go get it was Canada Dry Bold, and I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. So I did it, and it was spicy.
Oh,
like it left like a spice in your mouth. I was like, ooh, that is not good. Guess who loved it? My wife drank the whole freaking case. She loved it. Oh, this is the greatest thing ever. And ever since then, I haven't been able to touch ginger ale because I'm just like, ooh, that's spicy.
Yep, that turns you off. Yep.
So, all right, Mitch, go ahead and read the definition for soup.
Soup is, and this is straight from the horse's mouth, a liquid dish typically made by boiling meat, fish or vegetables, etc., in stock or water, as in a bowl of tomato soup. And there's a second definition, that's the noun, a substance or mixture perceived to resemble, and I emphasize resemble because it's underlined, to resemble soup in appearance or consistency. So everything for soup is meat, fish, vegetables, in stock or water. No mention of marshmallows or sugary sweets, and there's no mention of milk. So that's soup for you.
So I'm gonna do just a quick Google search for like candied yam soup. It sounds terrible, but I'm assuming that it's probably a thing. It is. So a simple cream sweet potato soup.
This. You staged. I think you already Googled that. I think something smells fishy here.
No, so in this capacity, I mean, that's probably a sweet soup.
Yeah. So 1 out of what? How many types of soups do we think are out there in the world?
I mean, I put sugar in my spaghetti sauce. Just to give it a little bit of sweetness.
Yeah,
sweet and savory often goes good. Yeah. However, to aid in the argument, I would never put anything savory on my cereal.
Yeah. Yeah, would you ever say, ooh, you know what this Frosted Flakes needs? Some beef. Or, I could throw some carrots into this, into my Wheaties.
Here. No. Hold the phone. Okay. I had went to a breakfast buffet before. And they had chicken on the buffet, like chicken tenders on the buffet for breakfast. I thought, this is odd. So I got some and I ate them. And I was like, dude, these are freaking delicious. So I walked up and I asked him, I said, what are these breaded with? And he said, oh, they're breaded with Frosted Flakes.
Oh. But that's just a breading over the chicken. I'm talking like when I think of cereal, I think of what you're putting in the bowl and you're pouring milk in. And I'm not putting chicken or beef in that, but I
probably would.
You would put, so you would have, so your Cinnamon Toast Crunch. So later on today, you're going to say, you know what? I've got some chicken nuggies here in the freezer. Let me heat them up, chop them up, and I'm going to put them in my Frosted Flakes. Is that what we're going to do?
I'm not going to do it, but I probably would. And here's something cool. Back when I worked at Domino's, listeners, I worked at Domino's for like 7 years. I tried so many different things in terms of pizza, and one really sticks out to me. I've made it a lot. We'll talk about the peanut butter stuff that I made another day, but this one specifically was done by the Domino's truck drivers when they show up a couple times a week to bring you your products, and they would get free pizza. Whatever they wanted, we had to make it for them. The one guy came in, he's like, hey, can you make me like a thin crust pizza with some chicken, barbecue sauce, some bacon, and some onions? And I was like, yeah, no problem. So I threw it through the oven. He goes, when it comes out of the oven, he goes, I want you to take some of that cinnamon sugar and dump it all over the pizza. And I thought, whoa, That's a hot take.
Yeah.
Dude, it was delicious. I made it without the onions after he left. I was like, because it smelled incredible, and I was like, all right. So it came. He did it. He got it. He went on his merry way. I made one immediately after because we got free pizza too for the crew, and I was the only guy there. I said, I'm gonna make this pizza. I gotta try it. So good. Adding the cinnamon sugar to the sweet barbecue sauce on the savory chicken and the bacon, amazing.
That is interesting.
It was so good. Like, it blew me away. And I would eat it every day. Like, I would do it right now if I could.
That would be something worth giving a shot, I think. Just once.
I mean, you got things like candied bacon. You got, you can mix sweet and savory. So I'm sure if I looked it up right now on Pinterest, on the absolute depths of hell that Pinterest can create, I'm sure there is savory cereal. I'm positive of it.
I'm sure there is, because there are people out there, I'm sure, that might be like, oh yeah, I've done this, but I just, to me, that just sounds, no. No.
My grandfather used to, instead of milk or yogurt in his cereal, he would dump coffee in there. Hot coffee. Basically turning it into like porridge or like an oatmeal.
Oh my.
That's another thing. Oatmeal, it's a grain. And it falls into the category of breakfast, and it's often sweetened with fruits and things like that. But I'm pretty sure that you could doctor it up to be savory.
Yeah. Well, I consider oatmeal to be oatmeal. Like, oatmeal's oatmeal. Like, it's not a cereal. It's not a soup. It's not a...
Yeah, but I don't know, man. Breakfast. I don't know. Because, you're what? How old is your daughter? 13?
14, yeah.
14. So you're 14 years removed from baby life. I have a 2-year-old here. We got him his cereal, and it was like oatmeal. We mixed it with milk, and they called it cereal, baby cereal.
Yeah. Okay.
We mixed it with all sorts of stuff. We would throw in carrots, peas, random things, and throw it in there, and we'd often, whenever he was really little, we made it into basically a soup. Like, it was so liquefied that it could have been a soup.
Yeah, but that's because he's a baby. He can't chew, like cereal. You know, but when he's gonna be old enough that he can actually have, cereal or something in the, in his bowl, is he gonna say, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna put some peas and carrots all up in this, my Cocoa Pebbles. It's not gonna happen. Like I said, I'm sure there's somebody out there that's, hearing us say, oh yeah, do that, and they're like, yeah, I think I might give that a try.
Well, but, here's the thing. I said I wouldn't talk about the peanut butter, but I'm gonna have to, because it's gonna correlate. So, I mix peanut butter with very random things. As you know, I keep talking about the burger,
yes,
peanut butter, and it's delightful. And the story goes is that I had seen somewhere down the line, amongst my television watching, and my curiosity was piqued at somebody saying that they put peanut butter on their pizza, and I thought, that is disgusting. I need to know more. Yeah. Okay, this is where my brain goes. How, who, what, when, where, why, and how did you come across that thing? So I looked it up, and I never found any specific instance where somebody was taking, like, I don't know, a regular pepperoni pizza or a supreme pie and putting peanut butter on that. But what I did come across was a lovely place in Connecticut that made peanut butter bacon provolone pizza. And I thought, that sounds delicious. And the only reason...
Wait, slow that. Peanut butter,
bacon,
provolone,
pizza.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So peanut butter was the sauce, provolone on top, bacon on top. So I thought, that sounds delicious. And the only reason that I thought that sounded delicious is because I had dated a girl who, she would make like an everything bagel, and she would put peanut butter on the bagel, and she would put squares of like really sharp cheddar cheese on top of the bagel. And I thought, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And I tried it, and I was like, that's pretty good. Why is that good?
Yeah.
And she's like, well, those like little orange crackers you get? They're like orange, and they have peanut butter in the middle.
Oh, those are good.
Yeah, those are cheese flavored crackers.
You know what? You're right. Those are cheese flavored with peanut butter in them. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Yeah, you're right.
So I took that and was like, okay, this clearly works. So I ate that all the time. I still have it on occasion. I'll make a peanut butter bagel, some sharp cheddar cheese on it. It's good. So doing that, and then I found that peanut butter bacon provolone. So I called this place in Connecticut. I called them up. I said, "Hey, what can you tell me about this peanut butter bacon provolone pizza?" And they're like, "Well, it's pretty much speaks for itself. It was like a challenge, like a food challenge they had. You can eat this pizza and we'll give you a t-shirt or whatever." And I'm like, "Well, I'll be frank with you. It sounds absolutely delightful. I would probably just order it in general." And they're like, "Oh, well, we'll set you up for delivery. Where do you want to take?" I said, "I'm not from Connecticut. I just want to know how you make it." And they're like, "Well, we make it with Skippy peanut butter." So, okay, cool. Sounds great.
Okay.
Got in my car the next morning, went over to Domino's, went a little early. Domino's was connected to Giant Eagle grocery store, so I meandered down that way, grabbed a jar of Skippy peanut butter, came back up, and me and my buddy Nate, we made it. Literally that same day, we just and it was, I put way too much peanut butter on it, but we did it like 4 or 5 times. Yeah, you'd be surprised.
Is there? Okay.
We had it was good. It was good enough to make again, but we were like, that was too much peanut butter. We got to figure out the ratio here. So we ended up figuring it out, and I made it for years, man. I made it so often, like it was so good. And then we took, then my buddy, who was extremely under the influence at the time, decided that he was going to take some of my melted peanut butter and dip his Domino's boneless wings in it, and it was delicious too.
Oh my God.
So you got like a peppery breaded boneless wing dipped in peanut butter. Absolutely amazing. And peanut butter isn't necessarily sweet, but it is a little bit.
True.
And I said, why does that work? Like, why is that so good? He's like, I don't know. Chinese food has peanut butter chicken. Like, it's not an uncommon thing. So
true.
Mixing sweets and savory is not too bad. So, in that being said, I would probably put cheddar cheese in my Captain Crunch.
In theory, that just sounds awful. I mean, but you've piqued my curiosity with this whole peanut butter thing, because I do love peanut butter. I finger blast. Well, you saw what I did. Well, that was that cookie butter. That time you brought it in. I was so rude of me. I just went, all out into that thing.
I mean, I brought it for you. So.
Yeah, but still, I shouldn't have went, knuckles deep with it.
Hey, it is what it is.
It is. It was really good. I love a good peanut butter.
The moral of the story is just throw peanut butter on random things. It's probably gonna be good.
It might be. I'm not putting it in my cereal though.
Peanut butter?
Yeah.
You wouldn't put peanut butter in your cereal?
I don't think.
What?
I don't think.
There's peanut butter flavored cereals though.
Oh shoot, you're right. So maybe I would. Okay.
I'm saying cheddar cheese.
Butter. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm saying I would sprinkle sharp cheddar.
We're going on to cheese. I'm still on peanut butter. Yeah. No. Yeah. No. My brain went on me there. I'm sorry. I meant to say cheese, not peanut butter.
All good.
Yeah. This is my first time on podcasting. Give me a break.
You're good, man.
But no, cheese on. Yeah, I meant to say cheese on. No, I'm not. No, I just can't. I can't. I love cheese too. I don't think I could do it. I don't
feel like there's a concoction that could be made.
It could be. Maybe if there's a night that I've had one too many, which I don't drink anymore, but maybe something would happen and I would give it a shot. Or if you bring one into work or something, be like, here, give this a shot. Maybe. I don't know. I don't think I would. Who am I kidding? I don't think I would.
Maybe the best approach would be to make like a Captain Crunch cereal bar mixed with cheddar cheese, or dip it in some nacho cheese.
Yeah. Oh, that just sounds terrible.
It does sound terrible. All right, all right. Let's see. Here's a little bit of history here about some soup. Ancient beginnings of soup. The concept of soup dates back to ancient civilizations. Early humans likely cooked ingredients in water, creating a simple broth. Duh. Archaeological findings show evidence of soup-like dishes in China as far back as 20,000 BC. So they had it all figured out back then.
They knew what they were doing.
That's right. It looks like the Middle Ages. Soup was often made with ingredients like vegetables, grains, and meats, and they were known for restorative and medicinal properties, which is why today we still use chicken broth as a remedy for colds. 'Cause there is some science to that.
There is, yes, and it is good.
No.
It does. It makes everything so much better.
Sure does. I even something as simple as like chicken ramen still works.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Blast some Prices Right in the background while you get some of that and some ginger ale.
Old Price is Right.
Back, yep. Brings you right back to your childhood.
Fixes you right up.
Yep.
Screw liquid IV. I got a bottle of chicken broth here.
Yep.
Maybe broth. If you put liquid IV in your chicken broth, and make
there we go. Yeah. Double deuce it there.
Yeah, we'll just mix it all together.
Yeah.
But get the best of both worlds. There's no such thing as too much of a good thing, right?
Oh God, no. Do what works, what you love, and then just keep doing it. Who cares?
That's right.
Yep.
All right, so cereal is relating to the definition of cereal is relating to grain or the plants that produce it. Also made of grain. A plant such as grass is yielding as a starchy grain suitable for food. So grass, really?
Yeah, I did not know that.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
A prepared foodstuff of grain such as oatmeal or cornflakes. Would you look at that? Oatmeal is in the definition of cereal.
How did I miss that when I was looking at it? That is.
So it says here, ancient origins also. Cereal or grains such as wheat, barley, and oats have been cultivated by humans for thousands of years. And they would make like a porridge-like dish. So somewhere along the lines, way back when, up until the birth of sweetened cereals in the 20th century, they were just eating like grains and stuff. Granola, whatever it was, and until Dr. John Harvey Kellogg, the Kellogg brothers made, they invented cornflakes. Oh, that's interesting. Cornflakes are gross.
Oh, they are terrible. Yeah. There's no need for that.
But you got things like shredded wheat and whatever.
Did you see that part? I'm just reading this about Dr. John Harvey Kellogg and his brother Will Keith Kellogg invented cornflakes in the late 19th century as a healthy anti-masturbation food.
What?
Yeah.
Hold on a second. How does that even work?
I don't know. I mean, cornflakes are definitely not sexy, but that's not going to stop me from doing anything. But
I don't understand.
The thing that you shared, the brief history of cereal, the third one down. I want to know what they thought was in the cornflakes that's going to make somebody from stop wanking it.
I got it right here, man. In the 18th and 19th centuries, much of the world worked itself into a tizzy over the idea of people touching themselves. While masturbation was never favored in the Judeo-Christian tradition, Victorian morality, along with the Great Awakening and other religious revivals in America, created a perfect storm for people to really become obsessed with it. Let's see here. This is so weird.
Yeah, I don't know. Because I was just going down through these things and I was like, oh my God, I see the word masturbation. I'm like, what's this about?
It says books like Anonia, or the Heinous Sin of Self-Pollution and Its Frightful Consequences in Both Sexes, came out in 1730. That laid the groundwork for pathologizing the solitary vice. Soon, masturbation was no longer considered just moral failing, but also physical and mental ailment that required treatment and cures. So the Kellogg brothers in the United States, one of the loudest anti-masturbation voices was John Harvey Kellogg, a physician and devout Seventh-day Adventist in Battle Creek, Michigan. In addition to running his successful surgery practice, Kellogg edited Good Health in Churches magazine, promoting the Adventist beliefs in healthy living, such as adopting a vegetarian diet, abstaining from alcohol, tobacco, and caffeine, and getting plenty of fresh air and exercise. Unfortunately, the magazine under Kellogg's leadership espoused eugenics and outdated anthropological notions. Huh.
So basically, John Kellogg is an asshole.
I guess.
Yeah.
But I want to know how he believes Kellogg's solution to this suffering was a healthy diet. He thought that meat and certain flavorful seasoned foods increased sexual desire, and that plainer food, especially cereals and nuts, could curb it. What?
Wow.
So he's like, we're going to make cornflakes, and it's going to make you not horny ever.
Yeah. I mean, of the unhorniest, unsexiest cereals out there, I mean, what is less sexy than cornflakes? I mean, that's like the nun level, like nothing to cereals.
That is insane.
Yeah. Because like I said, when I think of getting rock hard, it's not over cornflakes.
Dude, wow. Okay. Well, I don't know, man. That's a lot to take in. I mean, my general consent. I'm still gonna land on the side that I think cereal is more soup than salad, but I don't know. That's just where it's gonna land for me.
Yeah. No. I love you, DeeJ, but you're wrong.
That's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. Hopefully,
like I said, in my world, it's like. And it was one of those, when you first said this to me, I was just like, well, this is a no-brainer. You did, like I said, through all these times that we have talked about this, there have been times when you kind of were starting to sway me just a little bit, kind of like with this sports team talk that you're obsessing about lately. That's driving me insane. But you did throw some okay points at times. But overall, no, I'm never gonna be swayed on this.
I think that's fair.
It is.
I would say agree to disagree, but I think that statement is just that's for a whole other episode. I think that's the worst. That's the worst idea. Because we'll talk about that another time. I was reading through here in the show notes. It says. Describe some personal stories, and one of them is, have you ever tried to eat cereal with a ladle? No.
I've never tried to do anything with a ladle. I try to, like, when I make spaghetti sauce. Oh, I made this great homemade Alfredo sauce last night that just blew me away. It's so easy to make. Forever now, I'm never going to buy Ragu Alfredo sauce.
Oh man, homemade Alfredo is the way to do it.
Oh my God, this is the first time I ever tried it, and it's super easy and it's super good. Let me put you on to something. Oh, go.
Dip your chicken tenders in Alfredo sauce.
That sounds fantastic.
No joke. The Italian oven. Did you ever eat there?
It was a long time.
Okay.
There, but yeah.
They had, I don't know what they were doing. Whatever they had done, they had figured it out. They had the best chicken tenders of all time. They had some kind of seasoning on there that was literally just like crack. I don't know. It was so addictive. But one time I ordered chicken tenders and I ordered Alfredo pasta. And I had asked for a side of Alfredo sauce. And I was dipping the chicken tenders in it. And I was like, this is magic. This is pure magic.
Yeah, because that's the only way I eat Alfredo is I put chicken in it. So but sometimes if we have broccoli, I'll try to throw it in there too. I do love a good broccoli. But going back to the ladle, like the only time I ever use a ladle to use to drink or I guess anything would be to test my sauce. That's it.
Right.
Yeah. And it's hard to do it that way too.
Well, I'm telling you, man, get yourself a nice breaded chicken tender and get it all nice and crispy and dip that in some Alfredo, man.
Oh,
top tier.
I couldn't believe how easy it was to make. I mean,
it is so easy.
Yeah, it is super easy.
Now, how did you do it? Did you use heavy cream or did you use something else?
No, heavy cream.
So do it again. Mm-hmm. All right, let me ask you this. Do you have any left over?
Oh, yeah, I got a ton.
Okay, so it's going to separate.
Mm-hmm.
And it's gonna be super hard to get it to be back together again.
Okay.
It will, like, the oil is going to separate from the cream, and that's just the way it's going to stay, and it won't be the same.
Okay.
But I asked somebody who worked at the Italian oven, I said, how do you make the Alfredo sauce? They use light cream.
Oh.
And it stays together indefinitely.
Maybe it was light cream. I don't remember now.
Every recipe you'll find on the internet is going to tell you to use heavy cream.
Yeah. I'll have to look and see which one it really is. I just remember it just saying whipping cream. I don't remember if it was light or heavy.
Probably heavy.
I'm thinking it's heavy. Yeah. So
yeah, that's pretty common.
Yeah.
And it's good that way, but it's only good once.
Right.
You know, it's never the same. But if you use light, it'll stay good.
Okay.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. That was fantastic. I mean, I said, I can't wait to, like, the leftovers. I still have quite a bit of leftovers. I'll have to fight Izzy for it here. She doesn't have school today, so we might be, no holds barred, wrestling each other. There might be enough for both of us. We might.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So speaking of broccoli, I heard a joke last night. You may have heard this. It was told by Harrison Ford, but it was hysterical. And it has to do with broccoli.
Oh, I think I do know this one.
You know what I'm talking about?
I think so.
Oh my God, it was so funny.
Once you start saying it, I might remember.
Oh, well, he's talking about how there's a a guy working at the grocery store, and he's stalking the produce or whatever, and this lady comes up and she's just like, hey, can you tell me where the broccoli is? And he's like, I'm sorry, we're fresh out of broccoli, we don't have any, and we're gonna get a truck tomorrow, you can come back tomorrow. And then he keeps doing his job or whatever, and she comes back up again and taps him on the shoulder, and he stops and turns around, and she's like, where's the broccoli? She says. And he's like, I just told you, we don't have any. We'll be getting a truck tomorrow. You'll have to come back for it. And he goes back to his job, and a couple minutes later, she tapped on the shoulder again, and she's like, sir, where's the broccoli? And he's like, let me ask you this. He's like, how do you spell cat? As in like catatonic. And she's like, C-A-T. And he's like, okay, how do you spell dog? As in like doggone. And she's like, with D-O-G. And he goes, okay, now how do you spell fuck like in broccoli? She goes, there's no fucking broccoli. He's like, that's what I'm fucking trying to tell you, lady.
Oh, man. That's a great joke.
Oh, that's so funny. It caught me off guard.
Oh, man. Oh, got me to choke. Oh.
All right, so listeners of the show, we started off the top of the show by saying that this show is going to be a little bit of a mixed bag. This is the pilot, so we're kind of just going, wherever the conversation takes us. But in the future, the structure of the show is going to be, some kind of like world-defining question like this, and then we're going to go into another segment of weird news stories, which will spark some thought-provoking questions, and then we're going to do a couple more segments before we end the show. So that being said, we're going to go ahead and get into the wild news stories that Mitch had sourced these, so we're going to talk about those. Take it away, Spirit of the Woodpecker.
So the first one, it was just kind of just a weird, they're all kind of, weird little stories. This one, there's actress Goldie Hawn, which us that are 40 and over definitely know who she is by a lot of the movies that she was in the 80s. And she was in a show in the 70s. I think it was called Laugh-In, I believe.
And she's married to who?
She's married to Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell, that's right.
Yep. And Kate Hudson is her daughter. And I don't know if that son that was, he was the other Captain America in the Falcon and Winter Soldier movie. I know it's Kurt Russell's son, but I don't know if it's Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn's son. I know it's Kurt Russell, but I don't know. I would think it would be hers. I don't know. But yeah, so she hasn't really been in anything in quite a long time, but it's just.
That's not true. She was in those Netflix. Yeah, Kurt Russell.
Yes.
The Christmas movies.
The Christmas movies. That's right. She is in those. So I'm lying. So she is still in stuff.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of those right now, but yeah, they're in those two.
It's like Christmas Chronicles.
Yes, Christmas Chronicles.
Yeah.
Great
See,
movie.
look at that. I never watched them.
The
That's
first
why I
one
think
was
that's
amazing.
yeah. I think that's why I didn't know that she was in it. I knew he was in it. But yeah, I didn't know that she was in there.
Yeah, she's Mrs. Claus.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'll just get your real life wife in there. Which something also tells me that they've never married. They've always been together, but they never believed in the idea of marriage.
Well, celebrities often do that, although
Yeah.
just keep their regular name. So maybe they are. There's like a million celebrities that don't even use their, like, Brad Pitt's real name is not Brad Pitt.
Oh, no. Michael Keaton's real name is actually Michael Douglas. I don't know if you knew that.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah. Huh. Jason Alexander from Seinfeld, I believe his name is... Oh, shoot. It's not Jason Alexander, though. But yeah, you're right. Like, a majority of celebrities, that's not even close to their names. So Goldie
and even
Hawn,
so, if they get married later in life too, they're gonna keep their, Goldie Hawn should say Goldie Hawn, or else she'll lose her recognition. So
no, like when Jolie married Pitt, it's not like she's gonna change her name to Angelina Pitt,
right?
It just happens very, very seldom. I think what was it when Courtney Cox married that Arquette dude? I think she actually at the beginning of Friends for a couple seasons they were married. It actually said Courtney Cox Arquette.
Oh, she hyphenated. Oh,
that's okay. She hyphened. Yeah, hyphen's all right. But so Goldie Hawn says that back when she was in her 20s, she was abducted by aliens. She said that she was laying in her bed. She got this high-pitched sound in her ear. And then, of course, she saw 2 or 3 triangular-shaped headed aliens standing over her. Of course, they said they're silver, slash for a mouth, tiny little nose, which seems to be what everybody says aliens look like.
So I recently, within the last 2 days, have seen one of those guys, one of those whistleblowers that have come out about UFOs and stuff like that, talking about aliens. He said, I have 2 pictures of real, legitimate aliens, and he showed them on this video, and they had triangular-shaped heads.
Really?
Yes.
See, because, that seems to always be the way that the aliens look. Silver, triangle head, big eyes, little... And I was like, I am going to be severely pissed if an alien does come down and that's not what he looks like. I'll be like, what the hell? Like, I've been told for the last 75 years that this is what they're going to look like. Or what, are the aliens going to come down someday and be like, so this is the shit you think I look like? Like, this is this is bullshit. Like, this is so plain.
It had to come from somewhere.
Yeah, that's true. And that's what I always start to, because I was very anti-alien for the most part of my life. Like, nah, I don't think so. But then through the years, I started to be like, all right, I start thinking. And now that basically the Pentagon has said, oh yeah, that's definitely, UFOs are real. Then I've really been like, all right, like, we're good. I get it now.
Right.
But
which is crazy because it should be more of a big deal, but we're so conditioned from Star Wars that we're just like, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
They can come over to the bar and have a drink.
Oh yeah. If they're cool, I'm down with it.
Right? Why not?
Yeah. So she just goes on and on about this, and I just found it very, very fascinating. She said that they touched her face and it felt like the finger of God, and it was a benevolent, loving feeling. So she really enjoyed being touched by an alien.
Wow.
Yeah. She did say that she shared this story, because this is the first I'd ever heard of this. But she's saying that she shared this story before, and then she even spoke to a university about this. She's, in fact, it was a conversation she had with an astrophysicist at the University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign many years later, and it triggered more details about her encounter. So so it happened to her. She forgot about it, remembered. Then she gets remembered being fondled by these aliens. They never said that. I guess she never said that she got abducted. It was really just that they were just. I guess they just went to her house and decided to touch her, and then they left. So,
I mean, what on earth?
Yeah. So this was even before she was she was a dancer at the time. So she wasn't even an actress at the time. that
Huh.
just happened. Yeah.
I mean,
So,
that's
I guess
insane.
that's what they'll do. Yeah. Sometimes they'll abduct you. Sometimes they'll just walk into your bedroom and touch your face and leave. So
Just checking you out, I guess. Just,
yeah, yeah. So I mean, that's what you want to do. That's what you got to do.
hey,
So
I mean,
just thought that was
I wouldn't put it past anybody in if the technology, if somebody had the technology to go to another planet and they walked into, like an alien hut or house or whatever it was, I'm sure they'd be like, well, what do they feel like?
Yeah, I think I'd be a toucher too. I think I'd probably do the same exact thing. I'd hover over them, be like, well, now what do I do? Like, all right, boop, boop, touch it, and then I'd leave. Like,
I mean,
all right,
I'm a pretty hands-on type of person in terms of things. Like, have you ever heard that like you can look at anything, literally anything in the world that physically exists, and you know what it would be like to put your tongue on it?
Oh. Put your tongue on it.
Just look at anything, and without even having to lick it, you know what it's gonna feel like.
You lost me at lick. I thought you were gonna. You threw me off because when you said you see anything, I thought you were gonna say you touch it and you know what it would feel like.
No, because that's not entirely true.
Well, I can't even think of licking. There's only so many things I've ever licked in my life, other than food.
But your brain can fill in the blanks. To exactly what that's going to be texturally, and if you have something that is lickable, lick it and be like, I was right.
I'm not a licker. I'm a toucher, not a licker. I don't think I would lick. There's only so many things I want my tongue touching. I don't think something.
I mean, I feel that
food.
I'm not saying you have to necessarily try it, but
yeah.
There's very little thing, anything around my room currently, I can look at it and be like, okay, if I lick that, I know exactly what that's going to feel like on my tongue.
Well, now I'm starting to look around my room, seeing what I can start licking here, and we'll go from there. Well, okay. I kind of see your point. Because I have a shelf full of, Star Wars toys and stuff, and I'm like, okay, well, if I start licking that, I think I'd know it's going to taste like plastic and be textured like it.
Not even the taste of it, just the
like texture and the
what it's gonna feel like.
Yeah, that might be another story.
Your brain is complex enough to fill in the blanks.
Yeah. Would you rather touch it or lick it? What do you want to do? Is this a touchable thing or a lickable thing? We could do that sometime.
I mean, you can lick anything if you're brave enough.
No, I'm not licking it. I've made my stance on what I'm not licking, and there's a lot that I'm not gonna lick.
Fair enough.
There's even foods I don't want to lick. So, all right. So that's it with Goldie Hawn and her alien encounter, which I just found. Like I said, it was one of those actresses that it's like, oh yeah, Goldie Hawn. It's nice to hear from her, and then I see that, and I'm like, oh, Goldie. I'm like, okay. I'm like, that's what we're gonna talk about. So, and this was an interesting, it's not like weird, but I'm even wondering if we should save this about the rude phrases that people with poor speech etiquette always use. Because I feel like
let's do it.
You want to go ahead and do it? Okay.
Yeah, because if it sparks a good conversation, we can do another,
Okay.
We're open-ended here.
Yeah, that's true. So this article was done by this public speaking trainer who already sounds like a dick. He kind of says that people with poor speech etiquette always want to start, or I guess not even start, just say these phrases throughout conversations, and they should never use these. So the first one is, do you want to? And he says the phrase is great when you're offering someone a choice, but as a way of delivering orders, its indirect fake politeness comes across as belittling. And he says what you should say is, will you do me a favor, instead of do you want to?
So the examples here he has, do you want to go to lunch with me, or do you want to take out the trash?
Yeah, but saying it as delivering orders, that's more indirect. But yeah, like going somewhere is okay. So yeah, so here it says, will you do me a favor? I don't like sometimes when people says, will you do me a favor? I think I'd rather somebody say, do you want to?
I mean, either way, it's kind of like I see the point, but I also see your point in saying like, if you're like, hey, will you do me a favor and take out that garbage? Like, it can come across as like, is kind of dickish, but I guess it gives people the option to pitch in, because then you could respond with like, well, no, I got to go over here and do this, but I can do it afterward or whatever.
Yeah, there's a good Seinfeld skit that he does. I think it's like right before one of his episodes, and he says you can always tell how big the favor is by the pause after "will you do me a favor," because he says if you do the request right along with, it's like, will you do me a favor and take out the trash, it's little. But if you say, will you do me a favor, and you leave a big pause, it's going to be a huge favor, because someone's going to have to say, yeah, and then it's going to be, will you help me move or something.
Oh, right.
It always cracked me up when I heard that. So,
interesting. I never even thought about that, but that tracks.
Yeah. But yeah, will you do me a favor? I don't know. Sometimes I don't like that. I always, Autumn could attest for this too. Autumn's my wife, for people who probably don't know, might not know me. Anytime she asks me, will you do me a favor? I always instantly roll my eyes. Instantly. Because I'm just like, ugh, like what? So, and it's usually nothing major, but it's just, I don't like that phrase.
Right. Interesting.
So, yeah. So next,
there's probably other ways that you can do it.
Yeah.
It doesn't always have to be, will you do me a favor?
Yeah. Just going out and just flat out blurting, the request. We all know that doesn't, isn't very good either. To some people don't like that.
My grandfather was really big on etiquette.
Oh, was he?
He was very old fashioned when it came to etiquette. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I can remember he literally, bless his heart, man, he flipped out one Christmas. We went out to my grandma's house and he lost his shit because people were eating pie with a fork.
Really?
Yes.
You only eat pie with a spoon?
Yeah.
Really? And he went nuts about that.
He went nuts about it. Oh. He made a big deal. I don't know why it was so important to him, but.
Huh. That is interesting. I did not know that. I didn't know that pie was a spoon food. That does make sense, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just thought it was wild.
That is wild. Okay, so the next phrase, here's the thing. I don't know if I've ever said here's the thing. I may have.
I feel like I say it a lot.
Yeah. This phrase insists that whatever follows will be the final authoritative take on the subject at hand. Even when used inadvertently, it can sound a bit self-important. Truly authoritative people don't tend to waste time on throat-clearing statements. Here's the thing. I don't know. I don't think I've ever said it. I think if I say it, it's more like when I'm like just telling a story, I think. Like, oh, here's the thing. Here's the thing that happened. I don't know. Let's see what to say instead. If you're offering an opinion, consider prefacing your remarks with I think. These two words remove any suggestion that you're pompously issuing a declaration. Yeah, see, that one I didn't really dig that much. I guess I just didn't understand because I don't think I've ever used that term.
I feel like I have, but I also use I think, yada yada yada. So
yeah, I have to remember how I say things, which we all know from the other day. When I say field of work and stuff, I never really knew I ever said that, or I use the word field a lot. So, let's see. Number 3 is right. That's R-I-G-H-T. Let's see. In recent years, it's become normalized for this pushy rhetorical nudge to follow questions, especially in interviews with athletes and politicians. The most important stretch of the reason right, where we've never seen a circumstance like this, right? At best, it's a useless bit of filler, but it can also feel like a manipulative insistence upon agreement. Then it says what to use instead. If you want someone's opinion, ask for it in a neutral way, rather than demanding confirmation. I can't think of a more critical moment for the team. Can you? So instead of saying, I can't think of a more critical moment for the team, right? Okay.
I feel like it's the same, though.
Yeah.
One's just less sophisticated.
Yeah. And I know I say the term a lot. I like anytime I like already today during this, I've probably said at the end of a sentence probably about 10 times. I don't know why I always do it, but it's almost like me saying right. Because I'll be like this, right? He says up here, this is the most important stretch of the season, That's how I always say it,
Well,
right there.
saying is more matter-of-factly speaking like you're a know-it-all. Like, this is my opinion and you have to agree.
Yeah.
And that opens the conversation up to be like, well, no, it's not. And then you're literally just opening a can of argument right in front of it. So I can see both of them, but I also feel like that's like saying right is not pompous.
No, it's not pompous at all or manipulative. Yeah, I don't agree with that one either. Like I said, there's a lot of these I think this guy's just kind of being a jerk. Now this one here, when it says, well, figure out a way, I don't care who you are. That is I can't stand that term. I can't, just figure out a way. Well, no, screw you. Don't tell me just to figure out a way. Help me out here.
It's a conversation ender, it says.
Yeah.
What's important to delegate leadership demands that an employee needs help or tries to communicate about a roadblock. Your job is to help them work through it, not insult them.
Yeah.
So they said, let's talk about a way. Let's talk about it and figure out a way. Yeah. All right. I mean, yeah, sure.
Yeah. Like if we would ever say something to our lead and he'd be like, oh, well, figure out a way. I'd be like, you know what? No, but he wouldn't do that.
Right.
And I know he wouldn't. I know a lot of people would never say that. But if somebody would say that, no, that would not fly with me at all.
Yeah. It'd be like, it's like the simple argument between sympathy and empathy, which I'm not great at empathy, but I can see how I would never, even though I'm not great at empathy, I wouldn't say like, well, figure it out. And then just you like, it's like looking at somebody and saying, hey, Google it. Like, hey, what hours are McDonald's open? Like, I don't know. Google it.
Google it. Yep.
What time is it? Time for you to get a watch, bro. I can tell you what time it is.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Figure out a way. That would be, Yeah, I would not be very thrilled if somebody ever said that to me.
I mean, in terms of work, it's basically like saying, well, that's not my job.
Yep.
That's above my pay grade.
Yeah,
not exactly. Like, let's look at the problem here and then figure out like, okay, maybe this is actually not my problem or whatever, which I've said before. I say that a lot. Like, it's about to not be our problem. So I don't care. But that's more like at the end of a 12-hour shift. I'm like, I don't.
Yeah,
I don't have time to care about that right now.
Yep, it's Monday morning. We've just finished 36 hours and 3 nights. Yeah, if something happens at 5, hey, it ain't gonna be our problem soon. So
right.
Yep. Yeah,
it's easier to forget about. Figure it out. They can figure it out. Like that sounds like a day shift problem.
That's a day shift issue, exactly.
That's like Spider-Man be like, I missed the part where that's my problem.
Yeah. Oh man. See, now hopefully no day shifters actually are listening to this and they're gonna be like, so that's why things run like shit whenever we get in here, because they're literally saying that. We've never said that. We've never.
No.
We've heard people say that's what they say.
Sure.
And then here's some people's most famous quote and phrase that they just love. It is what it is, which is usually shorthand for stop complaining.
But that's not true. I don't use it for that terminology.
No. If I ever say it is what it is, it's just because it's just something sucks or something. It is what it is. What are you gonna do? Yeah, I never use it for stop complaining. Let's see, because it says if someone is asking for sympathy or assistance, you may or may not wish or have time to help them, but at least can be kind about ending the conversation. No, that's not at all what it is means.
No, that's not how I use it. I use it
No.
often as like no, I don't want to say self-deprecating term, but I use it in terms of like, yeah, well, this happened to me, but you know what? It is what it is. Like,
Yeah. Like, well, even, I don't know. Well, okay, like the elections, like, well, so-and-so won. Okay, well, it is what it is. What are you going to do? I'm not saying stop complaining or, something at work. Oh, they didn't do this. Well, it is what it is. What are you going to do? Which I guess those two things that I just are complainable things.
Yeah, but you can't be like, well, that's tough. I'm sorry, we're all going through this.
Yeah.
Like that's weird.
Yeah,
that's a weird way to put it.
Yeah. So I'm not saying stop. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm not saying stop complaining. I'm like, well, this is just what it is. I don't like to use the term anyway, because of course it is what it is, because it always is what it is. I mean, that's what else would it be than what it is?
Yeah, wherever you are there.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
But like, you can't. There's tons and tons of problems that happen to us on a daily basis, or to anybody on a daily basis, that are just happening and can't be solved either immediately, right now, or ever. And at that point, that phrase is perfect for that.
Yeah. Like this one, it says you don't need to be phony or overly demonstrative, but saying something as simple as "That's tough. I'm sorry you're going through that." Well, of course, yeah. No, I've never correlated the two together. I've never said it is what it is to somebody going through a tough time or going through something tough. Yeah, that's...
Yeah, I'd be like, oh, my, if you had... could you imagine? Like, oh, my relative died.
Yeah.
It is what it is, bro.
It is what it is, yeah.
Suck it up.
Yeah. Like, my house is being foreclosed, and I lost my car, and, well, it is what it is. I'd be like, fuck you, man. It's
like, yeah, I came to you for some empathy.
Yeah.
Even some sympathy.
Yeah. It's like, oh, my wife's cheating on me. Hey, it is what it is,
See, yeah, those are the things that be like, oh, that's tough. Sorry you're going through that.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, some of the stuff this guy says, like I said, I agree with some of it, but I don't agree, like how he's saying some of it is being used.
Right.
Like number 6, obviously. This word subtly or not so subtly conveys that anyone disagreeing with the speaker is wrong. Even if you don't realize it, using it can make you seem arrogant. Yeah, I don't think I ever really used obviously as a dickish way. Skip it altogether and remember that silence can be a beautiful thing. The most effective speakers know that proving your superiority or correctness is a waste of time and wins you no friends.
So, I mean, all right, there are things that's like, I've had people in my life where they've been more or less like, this is the way that a great example is like one specific instance I can remember, somebody saying, like, so they sent me a picture of a house that was decorated for Christmas. I said, oh, I know where that house is. That's right behind my parents' house.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, no, it's not. And I'm like, yeah, it is. I know, I've seen it. Like, that used to be my bus stop. I know exactly where that is. And like, no, it's not. Okay, yeah, maybe I'm wrong. That's what I would say. Maybe I'm wrong. And then later, only for them to be like, hey, by the way, I was wrong. You were right. I'm sorry. And I say, oh, obviously.
Obviously.
No, I'm the type of person that if I know I'm right about something, that's a win enough for me. I don't need somebody to know, hey, I was right and you were wrong. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need that. I can take the win and be fine with it.
Yeah. I could say I'm like that most of the time. There's some times where I'm like, you know what? Screw this guy. I want to be right, and I'm not going to shut up until everyone knows that I'm right. But I'd say for the most part, yeah, I'm like you. I'm like, no. Yeah, even though I'm right, I'll be like, well, I do the same thing as you. I was like, oh, yeah, maybe that isn't what that is. And even though in my head, I'm like, well, damn right I'm right. I know I'm right.
Right.
But there will be sometimes where I'll be like, oh, no, I'm right. I know I'm right. And I'm not shutting up until everybody in this room knows that I'm right.
Yeah, I lack that desire. I don't care
Yeah.
if people know that I'm right or wrong. Like, whatever,
Yeah.
if I'm right, I know it. It'll come out eventually, and then they'll be like, yeah, it's more of a win for me, mentally, knowing that someday they'll be like, shit, man, I made a big deal about that.
Like, man, DeeJ was right, son of a bitch.
Like, I'm never gonna tell him, but
yeah, like I said, it all depends on who the person opposite me is. Yeah, and there's not too many people that can really, wind me up. Yeah, but when they do, yeah, like I said, then the dickhead part of me comes out, but it's very, very seldom. Very seldom. So
gotcha.
yeah, obviously that's kind of a dickish word. And then the last one, if you want my honest opinion, then it says in parentheses, I was just joking. First of all, did anyone ask for your opinion? Man, this guy can be a dick with some of the stuff, how he's writing it. If so, they probably don't expect or need a rude response masquerading as honesty. And what to say instead, people want help, support, and solutions. Saying maybe instead of saying your honest opinion is perfectly fine preface. Saying sorry if a rude comment falls flat is far more productive than faux diplomatic justification for spite. Okay, well, yeah, usually if you're going to say, if you want my honest opinion, it's going to usually end up being, it's almost in the lines of, not to be offensive or not to offend anyone, but, then it's
right.
like, okay, well, obviously what you're going to say is going to be offensive. And then it usually kind of falls in the same with this. Like, if you want my honest opinion, it'd be like, oh, something really douchey's going to come out of this person's mouth, probably.
Or something entirely too honest.
Or something, yeah. Or yes.
People often butter up conversation to not seem like an asshole.
Yes. Yeah.
So if somebody at a meeting is just like, well, what do you think? And you can just say, I think it's great, and you can lie about it, or you can say, if you want my honest opinion, it's not going to be great. Yeah. Like, this is going to, but then a lot of people are like, okay, that's what they're asking. If they're asking you for something, what do you think?
Yeah.
I don't feel like it's not improper to say, if you want my honest opinion.
Right. That's true.
It'd be weird if they were like, well, what's your lying opinion?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
They want that. Like, that's they're opening it up to be, give me your honest opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. And that falls into the old, like, tough love thing. Like, if you want my honest opinion, like I said, it could be douchey, or it could be, all right, you're being an a-hole, you're being, you're in the wrong. So yeah, I guess I was looking at it the being a jerk way, but you're right though. Saying it like that would be like how you said, that would be probably the better way. Sometimes I don't like to give my honest opinion though.
Well, yeah, there's a time and place for your honest opinion, and you're going to be able to read the room. Yeah. But there are people out there who can't read the room, and they just do it anyway. Like, like my issue with Eaton Park. Obviously, at that point in time, that waitress wasn't ready for my honest opinion. I don't know if she wanted me to say everything was great and then lie about it later, or then tell her, complain about it later, but she said, how is everything? And I said, honestly, not great. Like, that's why you come and ask that question.
Yeah. Yep.
If you didn't want my honest opinion, then don't say, how is everything? Right. I'm not just going to lie to you. If it's not good, it's not good. Like,
yeah. And seeing, I'm very, I don't like confrontation either, a lot of times. So that's why a lot of times, and like I said, it all depends on, like with that, it depends on what we're talking about. But like, even like that with Eaton Park, I would have been, I guess it would depend on the mood. I think I've only ever flipped out at one restaurant in my life. Just because I'm like, if I say something, what if they say something back? And I'm like, oh, like I don't want to get in an argument. You know, I don't like confrontation. So I'll just be like, oh yeah, you, like you said, you want my lying opinion. That's probably what I'll give a lot of times. You know?
But the thing is that, like, the waitress comes by and is just like, how is everything? And usually 99% of the time, oh, it's all good.
Yep.
Oh my, can I get a different drink, or I don't really care for this. There's something wrong with your soda machine, or maybe this wasn't, cooked right or whatever. But like, it wasn't until she said, I said, oh, honestly, this isn't that great. It tastes kind of flat, like it's bland. Right. Oh, you're the 10th person to tell me that today. That's what pissed me off.
Yeah, that's
what I was like, okay. You shouldn't have sold this to me then. That's where I was coming from, and it didn't come off as dickheadish until that happened.
Yep. And then that sets off a whole different thing there then. Yep. Well, that's what the time, I think I told you this story about the time when we went to Cracker Barrel and Autumn got the chicken and dumplings, and there was like one little piece of chicken and like 4 dumplings. And she's like, I'm going to say something. And the whole time I'm just like, no. Like, So then the waitress comes over and then she's like, how is everything? And then Autumn's like, well, and I'm like, no, I just kept, nope, no, don't say anything. Like, it's okay. Like, everything's good, And in the meantime, it's like, it's food. If she would have just said something, but still, I don't know why. I just don't like uncomfortable situations like that, in the food, well, actually anywhere really. Because like I said,
I can remember a time, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but
no, I was done anyway. I was good.
I went out for wings at the Post, and I was with my parents, and my parents are passive aggressive, and they don't realize it sometimes, and they're more or less old-fashioned, and they say the things that is on their mind, and they don't realize that it's pissing off somebody before it's too late. And I can remember the waitress coming up, and she's like, we had all gotten wings, and I had said, like, because they called me, it was like a New Year's Eve special or something, and they were like, what are you doing for New Year's? I said, right now I'm just alone, like, I don't have any kids, whatever. Like, she's like, well, let's go out for wings. I said, all right, cool. So we ordered the wings, and I said, yeah, the Post wings are pretty good. So we ordered them, and they ordered I think they ordered sweet tea or something. And the waitress had come up, and I knew her from high school. Okay. We were talking, things like that. And I can remember she had come back up. It was really busy, and she was frazzled. You could tell there was a lot going on. She had a lot of tables. She had come up and she had said, hey, how is everything? And my parents like, our tea is kind of shitty, whatever. Like, I don't exactly remember what they said, but they're kind of beating around the bush. And she's like, oh, I'm really sorry. Like, it's really busy. Like, it's not my responsibility to make the tea, but I will let them know. And instead of them saying like, okay, cool, sounds great, everything's good, they were just like, well, maybe you should have let us know ahead. It's like, it's like just like a real bunch of crazy beating around the bush type of stuff. And I was severely getting uncomfortable.
Yeah.
As this was happening. And she brought more tea, and it was the same. And when she came back, she's like, well, how is this? And they're like, well, blah, blah, blah. I forget exactly what all was said, but she literally freaked out. And I was like, oh no. I was
my God.
I remember by the time we left, they didn't even leave a tip. I had to walk back in there and put a tip on the table. And I messaged her on Facebook and was like, hey, listen, please don't loop me into there. Everything was good on my end. I don't speak for them. I said, I realize that they're my parents, but I'm not a part of their psyche.
Oh my gosh, that is terrible.
It was something.
It was. I had the same experience with my mother. I'm going to say at least 5 times. I know for a fact that the cooks probably spit in her food because of the way that she acted when it was the one time me and Autumn were dating. And we were going up vacation up to Rhode Island and stuff. And we stopped at a Denny's. And this is 20 some years ago. I still remember it like it was yesterday. So we got the breakfast. She wanted eggs sunny side up. Well, they were a little slimy. And she just went off on this poor waitress. She's like, what the hell do you think this is? This is not sunny side up. She's like, this looks like something I blew out of my goddamn nose. I'm like, oh my God, Mom. I'm like, so me and Autumn were just like, do we just like go to a different table? Like, it's too late now. So she ended up coming back, and I think it was the second plate. It wasn't any better. And I'm like, Mom, I'm like, this stuff is going to be like down somebody's pants the next time they bring it in. I'm like, they are going to just destroy these eggs. I'm like, it's going to be 90% like real spit. I said, the way you're treating this woman, I said, this is terrible. We still, like I said, me and Autumn to this day still talk about that trip to Denny's where, I mean, she didn't even give this poor waitress a shot. I mean, just nothing.
Yep. Right out of the gate, huh?
Right out of the gate. And she wanted her food free. I mean, like I said, I can think of about 3 other instances where she embarrassed the whole family. She embarrassed us at TGI Fridays one time because I don't even remember what it was. I can't remember what it was, but she didn't like it. So she made sure all of TGI Fridays knew about it.
Oh boy.
And I'm sure I bet you at one point she probably did say, in my honest opinion, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some customers are showboats, man. It doesn't matter if they're your family or not. And I've told this story often. I don't know if I ever told you this story, but do you remember a few years ago? I mean, I've been almost out of Domino's for 10 years now. So maybe like, let's call it 12 years ago, Domino's ran a campaign called Pizza Insurance. Do you remember that?
I do remember Pizza Insurance, yeah.
Yeah, and it was basically like if your pizza was destroyed by some existential crisis out of your control, we would replace it for free.
Yeah.
Okay? So this woman walked in one morning, 10 o'clock on the dot, right when we opened.
Uh-huh.
She comes in and she's like, what's this pizza insurance? And I was explaining to her exactly the way I explained it to you. If your pizza fails under some existential crisis, like a tree or a vehicle accident or something, if you have the mental capacity to be like, well, I still need my pizza, we'll replace it for you.
Yeah.
She's like, well, what's the premium like on that? I'm like, what? She's like, what's the premium like? I'm like, it's not a call, just the insurance premium? Come on, lady, it's a campaign. Like,
premium.
So I swear to God, she asked me that, and I was like,
asked for what the deductible was too. Like,
she might have. I was just like completely blown away by the fact that she asked me. But regardless, she's like, "Oh, let me get a large pepperoni." So I make it for her, and like I said, she's the only customer.
Uh-huh.
I'm watching her walk out, and then I watch this lady just hike her pizza right into the middle of the road. Just throws it in the middle of the street. It gets just completely fucked up. She gathers it all back up and she comes walking in. She's like, I'd like to use the pizza insurance, please. I said, no. She goes, what do you mean? No. And I'm like, I just watched you throw that in the middle of the fucking road. She's like, well, I thought you said you'd replace it. I'm like, did you slip and fall? Like, I watched you hike it into the street.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I said, I'm not replacing it. Your pizza's in your hand. Yeah, that's what you get today. Wow. She was pissed, but I'm like, sorry. Like,
but... Yeah, so if I was ever going to use that insurance, I would have done some things that the pizza would have still been edible. You know, the pizza that got, you know, quote unquote ruined. Like what she basically did was just throw a pizza out. Like I would, or unless maybe she was going to plan on eating you know, a freaking, you know, pizza that got driven over by a car.
I just was like, I don't know what her plan was, but she just wanted. She was just testing the waters, I guess. I don't know, but I was like, I'm not doing that.
That's what you should have said. Well, you didn't meet your deductible, you know. So
you have to buy 10 more pizzas for it to. What's the premium on that? So weird.
Holy smokes! So there we go. That is. Oh no, I got one more story. I forgot about this one. So this is more just like is this something that you would do? So this fella I think it was New York, I can't remember what state it was now, ends up winning $22 million in the lottery. And he ended up going incognito because he doesn't want his kids to know. Only he knows and his wife knows. Nobody else in the family knows. No friends know. And he said, especially not his kids. He said, because he doesn't want his kids to become waiters, as in I'm waiting, not waiters as in, I'm waiting at a restaurant. So the question is this something that you would do? Would you, if you want any large sum of money, would you hide it from friends and family?
I would. That's a hard question.
It is very hard. I keep going back and forth on this.
Because I'm not the. I probably wouldn't tell a ton of people.
Mm-hmm.
I would more than likely wish to remain anonymous. I know that for a fact.
Yeah. As
to who I would tell is a whole other question. It depends on the amount.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, if it's like that life-changing, 22 million, like I would definitely have all of my ducks in a row before I told anybody.
Yeah.
As to like I've heard coworkers of ours say like, "Oh, I just wouldn't come back in."
Yeah.
That's a red flag.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like immediately you guys would be like, "Well, where's DeeJ? Like, why didn't he come back in?" It's like obviously something happened.
Yeah.
And you'd be reaching out to me being like, "Is everything okay?" And I'd have to be like, "Well, yeah, everything's fine. I just decided to quit one day." Like, and then there's a million other questions like, "Well, where are you going to go?" or whatever. And the same thing with like my parents are my neighbors. Like they're going to be like, "Why aren't you going to work?"
Yep. And that's what I kept thinking of when he says he's not telling the kids. I don't think it says in the article whether he quit his job or not. But if all of a sudden, you're a teenager, because the kids were teenagers, and if all of a sudden you're seeing your parents not going to work anymore, I know teenagers are kind of oblivious to a lot of things, but I would also kind of think like, wait a minute, why is dad home like all the time now?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like it would be hard to hide, I guess. And I can see the point, you don't want your kids to know, but like I also know that I probably wouldn't keep working.
Mm-hmm.
Because everything would just piss me off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I wouldn't need to be there.
Yeah. As soon as something would happen, the line would go down, be like, you know what? I don't need this shit. I'm like, why am I knuckles deep in this when I don't need to be?
Yeah, like what are they gonna do? Fire me? I don't need to be. You know what I mean? Like that's the kind of mindset that I know I would have that. Like I know I already get that way at the end of the shift. Like when I know I'm gonna be going home. Like I don't so I know, and I can it's like whenever you're getting ready to like when I was quitting Domino's, like my last week there, I just didn't give a fuck, dude. Like about anything. I was like, I don't care.
Right.
Yeah, and it's the same way like whenever you're leaving a house, like if you're leaving an apartment because you bought a house, and everything in your apartment, just like I don't give a shit about that. Like I don't care. I don't want to clean. I don't want to do anything. Like and I often wouldn't do dishes at my own house because I got paid to do them at Domino's all day long. I was like, I'm not doing them dishes. Like same concept. So as much as I'd like to say, like, yeah, I'm not telling anybody, I would definitely not tell I would lie about how much I had.
That's probably what I would end up doing.
For sure.
Yeah. Yep.
I would be like, yeah, I won a couple mil.
Mm-hmm.
Done deal. Like, nobody needs to know anything else.
It's like, I won just enough that I don't need to work anymore. After that, that's all you need to know. I won enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I don't think I could hide it from my parents because my parents have done so much for me in general. I would probably be like, hey, I won some money.
Yep.
And I'm going to take care of your bills.
Yep.
Like, thanks for everything. We're good here.
Yeah. 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 See, something like this, I wouldn't be able to. I like to say that I would be able to go anonymous, and I probably would to a certain degree, but then I'd start blabbering.
Now my kids are young enough that they probably wouldn't even notice.
Right. Okay.
And my situation is a little bit different. I have a blended family situation, and my only son with my wife is here all the time anyway, and he's young enough now where if I was just home all the time, he wouldn't even care. He wouldn't even.
Yep.
Yeah, he would have no idea.
Yep.
My daughters might be like, well, when do you got to go to work? Like, but they go to school, so like they don't, they're not going to know.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I think with my daughter, I think it would she would know after, because to this day, she's still like, well, she's like, do you work tonight? I'm like, yeah. Then every night it's like, do you work tonight? Like, she knows I work, but she doesn't know. She still can't remember what day.
Right.
You know. So maybe
now my
she's
stepdaughter might
enough.
question. Yeah. She might question, like, you know, like if the kids like ask for stuff at the store all the time, and I'm like, nah, we don't have the money for that.
Mm-hmm.
And then suddenly I would be like, yeah, like all the time. Like, yeah, why not? Throw it in the cart. Yeah. She might be like, well, how do we all of a sudden, you're not telling me no anytime.
Yeah.
It's like those memes that you see, like, if I won the lottery, I might not tell anybody, but there would be signs.
There would be, yeah. Yep.
It's like D just wore a different shirt to work every day, and I never saw him repeat it. Like,
but yeah, I thought that was a really, and yeah, like you had even said too, like the amount would also, like if it was $1 million, it would be like, I'll tell people what that, but if it got to like 30, 40, then it's like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to change my phone number, if I start telling people, because everyone's gonna want money. You're gonna be bugged incessantly. Even my wife's uncle, he won a $1 million scratch-off ticket here. Well, this was a long time ago, and he tried to be somewhat incognito about it, but people still hounded him all the time for money. And he helped some people. He, didn't help others, but that was even just $1 million.
Right.
He was getting pestered quite a bit, by people wanting, a couple thousand here or there, and most of the people he knew weren't going to pay him back. He knew they weren't paying him back, or anything. He didn't want them to pay him back either.
Right.
But still, it was like, oof, like, man, that would be a pain in the ass.
Like under 100,000, I ain't telling anybody.
No.
Because that's life changing, but not long term life changing. So
right.
I ain't saying shit.
Yep.
I mean, maybe my parents, like, hey, like you don't need to do that for me. Like, that's about the extent of it.
Oh yeah. Oh,
like, am I quitting? I'm not quitting work for $100,000.
$100,000. Yep. But that would be sweet. $100,000 would be just awesome.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Like I said, my dream lottery ticket to win is that $1,000 a week for life.
Oh yeah.
It's not a shit ton of money, but it's just enough that it would just be like, oh, this is sweet. Like every week I got an extra. Well, it won't be actually 1,000 after they take taxes, but still, it's like, hell yeah, I'd take 1,000 a week.
You wouldn't have to work. Your wife probably would.
Yeah. Yep.
But one of you could quit.
One could quit. Yeah, exactly. Yep. But then again, I say that's my dream thing to play. I don't even know if it is. Is it still? It might still be a scratch off. I've done it's been years since I've even done a scratch off ticket. I'm assuming it's still around.
I think so.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, maybe I'll have to play it here.
Yeah, I mean, I'd imagine that it is still a thing.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. So there we go. Those were my. Well, we had it as weird news stories. They weren't weird, but they were still thought-provoking. The Goldie Hawn thing was a little odd, to talk about being fingered by an alien. But, the other two I thought were just kind of like nice old conversation pieces. I'll try to find some doozies for the next one.
Oh, yeah. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see. It says here segment 3 is going to be separated for movies. So in the future episodes, we don't have a movie this week. We will be discussing movies here and there. I think we're going to be talking about Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Love that Del Griffin. I'll wear my Del Griffin t-shirt. Have you seen that one? I don't think I've worn that to work, have I?
I don't think so.
The Del Griffin shower curtain ring salesman t-shirt. Yep.
No, but that's awesome.
It is. It's very awesome. And it's very depressing the amount of people that don't get it when I wear it out. Yeah. But it's even just as thrilling when people point at my shirt and are like, I love that shirt. That makes it even. If one person notices the shirt and laughs at it, I've done my job.
Exactly.
But yeah, I can't wait to talk about that movie. That's just so many classic quotes in that and moments.
Yeah, I totally agree. I just watched it past weekend, so it's fresh in my memory. So we'll be talking about that. And this says the next segment here is for lexical explorations and etymology. So for listeners that may not know, I just ended a podcast that I had. It was called What Came Up, and it was the etymology of everyday things. And Mitch and I work in an environment that is exceedingly boring, and my mind often wanders, and I had come up with the idea to do a show about the origins of things that I often think about, how they came to be. And one of the, it all started with, the origin of the garbage can and why they are the way they are and how we got to that point. And it was all very interesting. And I did a bunch of episodes about a ton of different stuff. So I'd like to keep with the same, theme as a segment of the episode where we talk about the origins of popular or things that are said or that we do that you might not know the origin of. And we have today the origin of the term break a leg, used in show business, and we have the origin of raining cats and dogs. So yeah, and they're both pretty interesting. Mitch, you said did you have something for break a leg that wasn't in our notes here?
It wasn't in there, and I don't remember where I heard it. I don't even know if it's true or not. But what I remember hearing is because they say break a leg, and the reason they say that is because that would put you in a cast. So that's like a double meaning. You'd break your leg, you'd be in a cast. But if you were going for an audition and they say break a leg and you get the part, that means you're in the cast.
Correct.
I don't know if it's true. I don't know where I heard it. But I believe it. That sounds totally legit to me.
I mean, yeah, that's what I always thought it was here. And it says in the notes we have, it says the phrase break a leg is a well-known idiom used to wish somebody good luck, particularly in the performing arts such as theater or showbiz. Its origins are the subject of debate, but a few theories exist. One is superstition. One common theory is that the phrase originates from the idea of avoiding saying good luck directly in a theater. Theater has a long history of superstitions, and saying good luck is believed to bring bad luck. To counter this, actors and performers began using the phrase break a leg as a form of reverse psychology. So, okay, so go out there and have a bad time.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. I hope you suck.
So let's see. A bow and curtsy is another theory. Links the phrase to tradition of performers taking a bow or a curtsy after a successful show. In context, break a leg might be a humorous way of saying, I hope you have so many curtain calls that you have to bow and break your leg.
Wow. Jeez.
Interesting.
These guys are brutal.
The next one here has words that I'm not sure how to say.
Oh, yeah.
It's Hebrew, so I'm not even going to make the attempt of saying
it. Clearly Hatzlaka Ubraka and then Hatzaklaka. Yeah.
Yeah, which loosely translates to success and blessing and break a leg somehow.
Yeah. I like Hatzlaka Ubraka. That sounds like that's clearly Star Wars talk there.
Sounds like Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah.
Yeah, that rolls right off the tongue.
Yeah.
Variety performers, some suggest that it may have started as a wish of injury for the competition, wishing that the rival of the performer would break a leg. Again, brutal.
Yeah, these people are just, the showbiz world is rough.
Yeah. Despite the uncertainty surrounding its origin, break a leg has become a widely accepted way to wish somebody good luck in the world of entertainment, and it continues to be light-hearted and a traditional phrase in the performing arts. But I like to go with what Mitch learned, and that is that we hope you end up in a cast.
Yeah, hope you end up in a cast. Break a leg, you're in a cast. I love that. I love it. I just really wish I could remember where I got that from.
I've seen the same thing, probably somewhere, anywhere on the depths of the internet.
Yeah. Sounds like it's an Andy Bernard kind of thing from The Office. Maybe he said it.
Yeah, maybe.
That god-awful episode where he was in Oh, what the heck was he in? He was in a play. Sweeney Todd.
I don't even. Oh yeah.
Oh, I hate that episode. That's like one of like 5 worst Office episodes of all time.
It was. I was just reading a post about that the other day about skipping episodes, and that one and Scott's Tots.
Scott's Tots is terrible.
Rough.
That just cringed the whole way through that.
That's something to say for The Office, though. If they're able to make you so in love with the characters and so entwined in their lives that you can't watch Michael Scott be in that awkward situation, they've done their job.
And if I remember correctly, the beginning of the episode is very, very funny, and I always forget, like the cold open. I think it's very funny because then I'll start watching it and I'll be like, why haven't I seen this? And then when they're in the break room and they talk about Scott's Tots and Stanley's in the back just laughing hysterically, then I'm like, oh, that's why I don't remember this.
Yep.
I think this is the episode that begins with Kevin dumping all the chili.
Oh.
If I could be 100% wrong on this, but I'm almost positive that the opening where Kevin spills the chili, that episode is brutal. That's why I don't really remember much after that.
I'll say this, without getting into a giant discussion about The Office, The Office does such a good job at what they are supposed to do that there's a scene where they're talking about a prank that Jim did on Dwight that was never filmed. Okay, it never shows up on camera ever, but they do such a good job at making you believe that it actually happened that when it's described, you're like, yeah, I've seen that. And then when you find out later that like it never was filmed, you're like, how is that even possible?
Wow.
So, and it's the one where he says that he put nickels in Dwight's phone.
Okay, and then he would take one out after so long. He would take isn't that the one where he would take one out periodically? Then it got to the point when he picked it up, he smacked himself on the head because he thought it was so heavy. Is that that one? Okay.
Yeah, that was never filmed on camera. He just
said that he did it, but people think that wow. That's impressive. That is. I miss that show. I mean, there's just no shows out there anymore like that.
I know. But yeah, isn't that nuts? Like, nuts. You can see it in your head happening.
Yeah.
And that's what they did such a good job at explaining it.
Yep.
That you're like, I'm mind blown that I'm like, that wasn't filmed. So
that's borderline Mandela effect, kind of, in a way. Like you thought you saw it, but you didn't see it.
Yeah, that's wild.
That is wild. Yeah. Such a we should probably do an Office episode at some point, like, our top 5, we'll do something.
Sure.
Something fun Office. We got to talk Office sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can talk Office for hours.
It's our show, man. We can cry if we want to.
Yeah, there we go. They don't like it, they don't have to listen. But I don't think they'd still love it, I think.
Yeah. All right, next up we got Raining Cats and Dogs.
Yeah, I've never really ever looked into any of this. This is all kind of fascinating stuff here.
Yeah, so it's a colorful expression used to describe heavy or intense rainfall. Its exact origin is not well documented, but several theories exist. In Old English origin, one theory suggests that the phrase has its roots in Old English. Cat was often used to represent heavy rain, while dog was the symbol of wind. So raining cats and dogs meant that there was a fierce downpour by accompanied strong winds. The one that I learned was the roof-dwelling animals. Another theory is more literal. In the past, animals like cats and dogs would seek shelter on thatched roofs, and during heavy rain, the animals would be washed out, giving the impression of them falling from the sky.
Wow.
So, yeah, then there's one here for Norse mythology. The Norse storm god Odin had mythological association with dogs and witches, and in some cultures, storms were seen as a result of witches and cats' activities, so raining cats and dogs might be a way of invoking the power of these deities in a rainstorm. The misinterpretation is it is also possible that the phrase arose from misunderstanding or misinterpreting an older foreign phrase, and its historical evidence for that is lacking. So, could be someone hearing something wrong.
Yeah.
That happens a lot.
It does. Yeah. Yeah.
And it also says here the phrase raining cats and dogs is a classic example of how idioms can be quirky and colorful and often with unclear origins. While the exact source remains completely uncertain, it has become a well-known expression describing rainfall. So yeah, that's so weird that things like, we use it daily and we're like, nobody knows where it came from.
Yeah. Yep. It's like whoever invented that. I don't know. Somebody did. But it's still, it's wild stuff. Absolutely wild.
The roof dwelling animals one, man, that is nuts.
That is nuts. Poor cats.
Right? Cats always land on their feet, man.
Yeah. And what the heck kind of roof? A thatched roof. I wonder I have to look at what a thatched roof actually looks like. Like what?
Something that doesn't hold water well, apparently. Or water would roll off of it, but if an animal was up there,
Oh, okay. It's okay. It's like when you see like the old shows and like shows from back in medieval times, how the roofs are kind of just like hay and straw and hay and stuff like that.
Oh, there you go. Okay, well, that makes sense.
Thatching is a craft of building a roof with dry vegetation, such as straw, water, weed, sedge. They had me at straw. I knew what they meant when there's a picture there. Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Wow. Well, on to the next segment here. Mitch, if you had to hide a paperclip from the FBI, where would you hide it to ensure that it was never found?
In my beehole. No, because they would search there. Who was that? Somebody. We were talking about that at work. I think somebody said about they would stick it up their bum. But I think the FBI, don't they do cavity searches?
I'm sure they would. So, that'd probably be one of the first places they'd look.
Yeah. So I think what you'd first have to do, it'd be like a multi-level thing that I'd have to do. Multi-step. Because first I think you would want to melt it. And then after you melt it, then you'd have to, I would just like, I don't know. I always thought that the best thing to do with something murdery or something is, wouldn't you want to drive like a long ways away and then like, with it being a paperclip, just go in the forest. I'll drive up to frickin' Benazet or something. And just dig a little hole and put that melted paperclip right in there. And I would think that I would be okay. But I don't know, this day and age with the FBI, they'd see exactly where I'm at. I'd have to leave my phone at home, though.
Right. I feel like I would just put it in a box of paperclips.
Yeah, you would think, but you would figure the FBI's got some sort of technology that they could probably do some little black light thing. And then they would be like, oh, these ones are all clean. Oh, there's blood or semen or something in this paperclip. There's some.
Here we go. How about we melt a bunch of candle wax.
Okay.
And then dump finger all the paperclips and then dump all of them in the candle wax and then blow the candle out.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. We could do that too.
Or I know we could hide it in a box of cornflakes. They'll never look there.
Yeah. Put in some oatmeal. Yeah, cornflakes. Definitely cornflakes. Cornflakes is that's the trash cereal. But I won't be masturbating anymore if we get it.
That's true.
Well, I got to eat it first, then I'll stop.
I had a box here for a while, and then I threw it out, and just horniest I've ever been.
Yeah.
All right, so that's that, I guess.
Yeah, we were
a real thought provoker.
Yeah.
I guess if you're interested, you feel free to reach out. Let us know where you would hide a paperclip. I want to know.
Yeah, we should ask we got some coworkers that are really into. They watch the murder stuff, and and they talk about, oh well, this is what I would do with the with the weapon, or if I killed so and so. We'll have to see what they what they say.
Okay.
Maybe they watched enough of that, Dateline and stuff that they would know exactly what to do with it and never have to worry about it.
Right. So more on that later. We'll come back with that. So the next thing here we have set up is called Super Fights, and it's a pretty fun little game that we're gonna play real quick. I have the cards here, so I'll have to pick for Mitch. But basically, we're going to pick characters and attributes, and then we're going to argue as to who would win in a fight between the two. So I'll pick for Mitch first.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Dude, I did not stage this. I promise.
Okay.
Did not stage this. The first card I picked for you is Darth Vader.
Nice.
Swear to God. So Darth Vader has all of his regular powers that you know of.
Yep.
Okay. But the attribute cards are going to change a few things. So Darth Vader, he has a beard made out of bees. Okay, and he throws ninja stars.
Oh man.
Okay, so you can think on that, and then my character, let's see here. My character is going to be Heisenberg.
Ooh.
But he is armed with a sniper rifle, and he can turn into steel.
Okay.
So now, basically, what we have to do is just figure out who's going to win in a fight. So,
well, I mean, to me, it's a no-brainer. Obviously, it's Vader because the bee beard is going to do absolutely nothing to Vader. Like, I'm assuming the bee, since he's got his mask, the bees aren't going to be underneath the mat. You know, they're going to be outside, so that's not going to really affect anything.
I mean, his beard would be under the mask, though.
Yeah, but the bees really aren't going to survive all that long underneath there. So
I mean, that's
for him,
true.
and he's already got, you know, they say, you know, if you really dig deep into, you know, the makings of Vader's suit, he's pretty much in pain all the time anyway. Because they say that the Emperor purposely placed, you know, obsolete parts in his body to cause him pain, you know, so, you know, a couple bees, even if they're inside, that's not going to bother him. If anything, it's going to make him more angry. And again, it's going to make him stronger with the Force. So not only is he got, you know, fantastic Force skills, but now he can throw a ninja star too while we're at it. Yeah, B-Beard does nothing, has no effect on him for that.
So are we to assume that everything in Star Wars movies it's probably safe to assume it's made out of steel at the very least?
I would assume so, yeah. Some sort of steel, yeah.
So that being said, that means that a lightsaber could cut through steel.
I would think so, yeah, because you figure they were able to go through the floors, the doors, that's all looks like steel. So, yeah, I would think that anything steel related would be nothing to him.
Right. So, I mean, you got a meth maker with the sniper rifle and can turn into steel. I mean, he's got nothing on Vader, regardless.
Yeah.
The ninja stars wouldn't do anything to him.
No.
You know, so we can rule that out.
Yeah.
He can turn to steel, so he can block the ninja stars. But the the sniper rifle's not going to touch Vader, and if he can get close enough to kill him with the lightsaber, it's done. So there's that.
Yeah, I'd say it'd be Vader. It sucks that Heisenberg got such a bad draw there. Maybe next time.
That's okay, man. This is the rule of super fights. You know, you never know. It could be a wash.
I do love Heisenberg though. Man, what a great character.
I can't believe that I picked Darth Vader for you. I shuffled these cards 12 times.
That's awesome.
That was pretty nuts. that was on the sliding scale. That was platinum walnuts.
Yep. The platinum walnuts.
Mitch and I have a sliding scale. If you say to somebody that it's pretty nuts, we want to know what kind of nuts.
Yep.
And how pretty are they?
Yeah.
So we're platinum walnuts right now.
Platinum walnuts that's high up there, man.
That's high up there. And what was it that you said? Tungsten carbide?
Tungsten carbide cashew nuts or something like that.
Oh man. Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll be at that point at some point. We'll get the tungsten carbide cashews.
Yeah. Hopefully. I don't know. That's a pretty big deal though.
Right. Well, we're at the tail end here. So as we wrap up this uproarious journey through the inexplicably sublime, we want to leave you with a challenge. Please share your thoughts on the topics that we have covered today. What is your take on cereal as soup? If you think there is a quirky pop culture trend that we should explore, or perhaps a mind-boggling question for the Curiosity Cabinet, connect with us on social media and drop your wittiest ideas and become part of the Ineffably Sublime community. We are on Facebook, TikTok, Threads, and Instagram, and we are available anywhere that you could find a podcast. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and for a guaranteed dose of laughter and enlightenment. And if you like the show, please leave us a review. And if you're listening on Spotify, I think you could only rate the show. I don't think you can review the show. But if you're listening on Apple, you can review it. And those reviews and ratings are exceedingly helpful for other people to find the show. I know that every podcast in existence says that in some capacity, but it is the most true thing. I have been doing podcasts for a long time, and the more exposure you have and reviews you have, the more likely it is for somebody to just type in comedy and our name shows up. So that being said, Mitch, what are your closing thoughts?
Hey, this was fun. I can't wait. Hopefully I didn't screw up too much here today for being the first time podcaster. Yeah, I had a blast. I can't wait to do more of these. I hope everybody else liked them. Yes, like he said, like DeeJ said, let us know, give us some feedback. There'll be times we'll have writer's block and we might not have a good idea. Let us know. Most of you guys know us. Come tell us, write us. Yeah, review us, let us know. This is a lot of fun. I can't wait to do more of these.
Oh yeah, I had a blast also. So we're gonna come back and do, like I said, we're gonna talk about movies. We're gonna do, it is November, so we're gonna talk, like Thanksgiving movies and things like that. And then we'll come back and we'll do some Christmas stuff and things like that. And Christmas, Mitch, Christmas is full of very strange origins. Like, I have done a few Christmassy podcast related things in the past, and there are so many things that people do at Christmas time that nobody ever thinks about. Why do we do that?
Yeah, I can't wait to hear.
It's all super weird. Like the origin, just in generally speaking, just speaking ahead, like the reason that people have Christmas trees and the reason that like we put lights on them, all of that's just so odd, and nobody really thinks like, why do we put a freaking tree up in our house? Like. So I
can tell you for a fact, I have no idea about any of that stuff. Like I've never really dug into that. So yeah, you'll be blowing my mind as well as everybody else's.
Sure. And most of the stuff I'm going to source from a website called whychristmas.com.
Oh, okay.
It has a ton of resources on just like why we do what we do around that holiday. And Christmas is a very strange one.
I bet it is.
Yeah.
I didn't know that Krampus thing was a real thing till that movie came out.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh yeah, you didn't know about. I'm like, I had no idea about Krampus. I just thought that was just a character they just made up a couple years ago.
Oh, even the thing from The Office that Dwight does. I forget what it's even called now.
Oh yeah. I can't remember the name of it now either. Yeah.
Belschnickel,
that's it. Yes.
Yeah, that's a real thing.
Oh my God. See, I didn't know that either.
Yeah, so I for those of you that can't wait, if you want to learn about it, I did a few episodes about Christmas stuff. I think I've taken my etymology show off the air, so I don't know if you're going to be able to find those episodes, but I did do some stuff last year, so I'm not totally not knowledge filled about a lot of those things, but we will re-dive into it now that I have a woodpeckery co-host to bounce ideas off of. I think.
I'll peck away.
I think we're going to be in good shape here. So
I think so too.
So cool. Well, it's been fun, and I want to thank everybody for listening, and we'll see you next time.
We'll see you guys.
There you have it. We have been your guides through the wonderfully weird, and we can't wait to dive deeper into these categories in future episodes. Stay tuned for more unpredictable, edgy, and uniquely hilarious content. And remember, it's a strange world out there, but it's all part of the ineffable, the sublime, and the magnificently bizarre. Thanks for listening, and be sure to stay tuned for more.